Virtual backyard barbecue. The idea really is that the two cowboys are taking you on a journey as we answer your questions, courtesy of AMA and Taste Alberta, to learn what the kind of things are that you can cook right here from your own backyard. Now, we're going to have a few programs, and the first one we're starting off with is with eggs. We're doing this thing called the virtual backyard barbecue. And to be honest with you, it sounds a little more crazy than anything, but people got some questions about the products and the goods that they're eating.
Yes.
Now we're talking about eggs today.
Okay. Oh, we are? Okay.
Yeah. No, not barbecue, not pork, we're going to talk about eggs. Run me down how many eggs you produce on a weekly, daily basis.
We have 24,000 chickens in here now, and there's 23,000 eggs coming out a day.
23,000 eggs?
Yes.
I see they're all white. Why?
Yes.
Why are they not brown?
Well, we go with what the grader wants, so if the demand is for white eggs, then we have to supply white eggs.
So how do you get different colors eggs?
So a brown chicken will lay your brown egg, and a white chicken will lay your white egg.
How come some eggs have got more yellow yolk, almost like orange, and others have got a blander, more yellowish, lemony kind of yolk color? How do you get the colors in the yolk?
Okay, so a wheat-based diet would be a paler yolk, and then a darker yolk would come from a corn-fed diet.
Where does the feed come from?
Feed comes from a local feed mill in Calgary here.
Do you use some of the feed from your own farm?
Yes, we use our wheat.
Nutrition-wise, is there a difference between a darker one and a lighter one?
No, there's no difference in nutrition, or there's no difference in quality either. So it's the same thing.
Taste?
Taste is the same. Yes.
Exactly the same.
The same thing. Yes.
Same thing. What kind of breed of birds do you guys use for egg production?
So we use Leghorns.
How do you get the size? Do you just feed the chicken more?
So the size of the egg comes from the bird, the frame of the bird. So the bigger the frame of the bird is, the bigger the egg is. And then to get the egg size up, in our rations we have to use a higher protein ration. So once we get an average egg weight of 60 grams, we just cut the protein back a little bit, and that'll maintain the gram of the egg around 60 grams.
Speaking of large, how do you get 2 yolks in it?
So mostly in pullets, it'll happen when birds come in and they're young. Their system is a little immature, so they'll ovulate twice a day instead of once, and that causes a double yolk egg. So out of 11,000 birds on the one side here, we'll get around 200 eggs a day.
That's not bad.
That have double yolks. No.
So you can get quite lucky.
Yes.
You keep all these things, you get quite lucky. So after all of these eggs passing through your hands, I have to ask you, do you still eat eggs?
Yes, I do, every day.
Yeah? And what's your favorite way of eating your egg?
Of course, over easy.
Over easy, just simple, over easy,
Yes.
no omelette, no quiches.
Over easy works for me.
Yeah? Meg, how long have you been cooking?
I have been cooking probably since I could walk.
We've got some questions that people posed. The one question, and this is an interesting one.
Okay.
Because I think tiramisu, I think if you do a really nice linguine, or not necessarily, what, a carbonara?
I know where you're
How about a
going with this
carbonara?
question.
So-
How about a Caesar salad dressing?
Yes. So let's give it away.
Yes.
What am I talking about?
You're talking about raw eggs.
Yes.
So consuming food products that contain raw eggs, and is it safe or is it going to make me sick?
Yes. So that's a big question. Is it safe?
There are so many stringent rules around how the eggs are produced at the farms. Then they get to the store and then we bring them home. So when it comes to food and cooking with food and making products that use a raw egg, I think as long as you've got eggs that are properly chilled in your fridge, if you make sure that the eggs are not cracked or broken, and then you are keeping your surface areas clean so that you don't have cross-contamination, at that point, I think the chances are really quite low.
So just so I cut through it.
Yeah.
Good food safety practices.
Yes,
right?
yes,
And good produce.
yes.
Because if your produce is good, you know you're working with something that's relatively safe. I got a tip though.
Okay,
I've got a tip for people.
I want some tips.
One of the mistakes people sometimes make is they take their egg and they crack it right on the sharp edge of their pan
Yes.
or their pot.
Yes.
And what that usually does is it ruptures the protective membrane that's around the egg.
Love this.
So If you do that and you rupture it, all the shell, all the contamination
Yes.
is pushed right into the egg.
Yes.
So the best way to crack an egg,
Flat surface.
flat surface. You know, this video is about cooking.
It is.
A little bit about cooking.
It is.
Even though we're not in the backyard at the moment.
Yes, we'll
Yeah.
leave that to you.
Yeah, the Cowboys are going to do that one later. But there's another question that came up.
Yes, there is.
And it's a highly technical question. And that is, if you bake an egg sunny side up, how do you stop the white from getting crispy?
If you're frying an egg sunny side up, to get the whole thing going, you need a frying pan that's not too large. This would do for 1 or 2 eggs. So this is just an 8-inch skillet. We're going to use a little bit of butter and olive oil. I like the butter for the flavor, but it has a really low smoke point. So the olive oil is going to help it, meaning you can put a little more heat on olive oil without it getting too smoky. We just need some good eggs, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper.
Non-stick pan.
Non-stick pan, absolutely. And we also want to have a lid. That lid is the key. And if you want to have a ring mold, this is just a silicone ring mold. If you want to get fancy, you can place that down in as well to kind of capture the shape and prevent those sides from getting too brown. We're going to keep the heat on medium to medium low.
That's important. If your pan is too hot, the proteins cook too fast.
Correct. So as this guy starts to cook, if you want to use a spatula to kind of pull the sides in, you can. Sometimes by doing it this way, it's going to make your edges a little thicker. The thinner the egg edges are, the more of a risk that you've got in making them quite crunchy. But I like to throw the lid on right away.
What does the lid do?
The lid, in a sense, you can see steam starting to form. It traps so that it almost becomes convection, and you'll see that the steam will help cook the top of the egg white, but it won't fry out the edges, because that's the problem. If we've got too high of a heat, the underside's going to cook much quicker and the top still needs to get cooked. So we're kind of creating that.
So if you take the lid off, the challenge is going to be undersides cooking too fast. You're not going to be cooked on top, so you got a really runny egg, but you got stuff at the bottom already going crunchy and yucky.
Yes, and I always say, watch your heat. You definitely don't want, you're not in a rush. Low and slow, kind of like barbecuing. You don't want to rush this. You want to get everything cooked so that the whites are good to go, and then it just depends on your yolks, if you want your yolks hard or runny.
So now here's another thing that's
Yes.
important. Take your time, but watch it. When it gets ready, take it off, get it out of the pan, because this thing will keep on cooking.
And it's still going to keep that heat in. So that's the mistake. Even 30 seconds longer on the burner, you are going to get those dark brown edges. So there you go, sunny side up egg.
We've had a question or two about actually cooking eggs on the grill, on fire, in the backyard. And that's the Cowboy speciality. And to kick things off, I'm going to use a really, really interesting concept, which is actually quite classy if you look into the way things are done. We're going to cook. You ready for this? Oeuf cocotte. We start off with some good cream. And effectively what we're going to end up doing is poach an egg in cream. There you go. Cream in the pot or in the cup. Let's get a nice big egg going here. Here you see different colors. Nice big egg. We're going to break our egg separate from our pot and keep the yolk nice together. Just to make sure egg is in good health, I think. What do you reckon? Oh, beautiful eggy. We're going to put eggy with the cream. Don't break the yolk. Then you can just put some salt and pepper, a little bit of cheese, and off you go. But we're going to do it Cowboy style. So what I've done here is I've got some of pulled pork, nice little pieces of meat. I'm going to add that to our cook. I'm going to top it off with a bit of cheese. Lekker, smoky Southwest. That's going to give us a kick. It's also going to give us some color. Right. That's it. Ta-da. Oeuf cocotte. Another big question that people came up with is how to do a frittata on the backyard barbecue. We keep it simple. I'm going to use a little baby cast iron pan. We are going to take about 4 eggs. I think that should do the trick. Nice olive oil. This is to make sure our frittata is not going to stick. I'm going to put some cheese. I want to go a little bit of the Mexican route. So I got some pico de gallo, nice fresh pico de gallo the cowboys made, and some pulled beef to the recipe. For this one, I'm not going to put it in the pan right away. I'm going to heat the pan up first before I put this in. It helps it to stop from sticking because your oil is hot, the protein solidifies pretty quickly, and then, I forgot something. Paprika. Little bit of salt. I'd like a little bit of the chili oil as well. That's it. That should do the trick. So, I mean, the bottom line really is you can be as creative as you want with eggs because eggs is actually pretty forgiving. And if you do it on the backyard grill or on the barbecue, here's the low and the high. You can do it on a smoker. Okay. Run it a little hotter than usual. Do the hot and fast thing. You can do this on open fire. I know there was a question about open fire because you got cast iron, nice fire underneath, egg on top, you're good to go. Or you can do it on a charcoal grill, and that's the way we're gonna cook it. We're gonna cook it on the charcoal grill, ready to go. Cowboy, I think we've got ourselves organized here. We've got our frittata, we got a little pan, we got our beautiful oeuf cocotte. I think it's time to light the fire. Poaching an egg in cream. Don't want to burn the cream, don't want to burn the egg. So that's why I say medium heat. And if you get too hot, get yourself one of these jobbies. If it gets too hot, just move it a little bit away. Just make sure that your cream doesn't burn and you'll be good to go. As far as your other thing, your frittata is concerned, I want some fire underneath it. So it's directly on the coals. And this is why you cook with fire. Now we're gonna have a drink. Moment of truth. Let's see if we can get this baby out of its nice warm nest. And you can see how a backyard barbecue frittata, ta-da, which is really just an egg pie, if you ask me. You smell that? Oh, that olive oil. Time to tuck into our backyard barbecue skillet fire frittata. I should have this for breakfast. This is the one I'm most proud of. This is what you're looking for. Look at that. See the poached egg and the meat and the cream and the yellow. What can be better? Eggs in cream with smoked meat in the backyard on your barbecue. Thanks for joining us this time. We've got a few more questions we're going to answer as the episodes grow. But for now, as the cowboys say, lekker eet. Enjoy.